It's like cute. It's like cuteness and nightmares had a baby. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Nerds In. It has been months since I have posted anything. It has been a crazy few months since Comic-Con. I am back and I'm hopefully going to be back every single week. Thank you so much for sticking with me. But tonight was too big to not do something. Today was the day they released an actual trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi, and it's too much to process. By now, everyone in the world has seen Star Wars The Last Jedi. I mean, people even sat through a horrible Monday Night Football game. I mean, by halftime, the score was 3-2. And if you're asking me how that's possible, I'm not sure. And I watch football. Didn't make sense to me. But we nerds sat through it purely for this one moment of very cheap marketing from Disney. I mean, they own ESPN. It's free. Why not? Let's just begin. I mean, where do you start with this trailer? From start to finish, it is perfection in every sense of the word. Every time Star Wars does a trailer, it just gets better. I'm just going to go on and talk about what I thought of it. I mean, obviously it was a great trailer. Obviously it was amazing. Obviously I'm pumped for the movie. Obviously my expectations are through the freaking roof. But that's simply because it's Star Wars. I mean, any other thing, they could have shown us a black screen with just a word on it that said Star Wars, and everybody in the world would be talking about it. I mean, in fact, everyone in the world did talk about it. All they did was release the image of the font and color and the name, The Last Jedi, and people went over and over and poured completely into what could this mean, The Last Jedi, when it was just simple as Luke is the last Jedi. This movie is his movie. So I'm just going to talk about what I thought about it, just piece by piece, kind of dissecting my thoughts, trying to unpack all the information that was there. Now, I believe at the beginning of this, when Snoke says, you know, when I first found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And when Luke later on in the trailer says, you know, when I've seen power of this nature before, it didn't scare me enough then, but it scares me now. I think they're both talking about the same event and the same person. I believe they're both talking about Rey. I believe that Rey is the embodiment of the Force, that it just moves in her like nothing we've ever seen before. It moves in her like it moved in the brother and sister on Mortis. It moves in her like nothing else. She is a beacon for Force, and it is raw, and it is powerful, and it is in its natural state. It's not lava, it's freaking magma. It is the core of the earth, and I believe that is what she is, that she is the embodiment, a vessel for the Force in its most purest, its most natural state. Going back to other videos, I tend to believe that Snoke is a ancient Force user. Maybe not necessarily a Sith or a Jedi, but possibly one of the wills of the Force that has gone astray, and that millennia ago in the uncharted, unknown reaches of the universe was locked away by ancient Jedi, possibly both ancient Sith and Jedi working together to cannot destroy it, but simply entomb it. And it has been released, possibly by Rey, that where she grew up as a child, or just using the Force as a kid, unknowingly unearthed this beast, and that he is, as Darth Kraya would say, a wound in the Force itself. That he is the Lord of Hunger, that he drains force energy to renew himself, to build himself, to heal himself, to bring himself to full power. And I think that that Luke and both Luke and Snoke experienced her. And Luke on one hand saw it as something, and Snoke on the other hand saw it as something else. One may be a tool, and the other one, something to train, something to harness. I believe that phrase that Snoke is saying in the beginning, when I first met you, coincides with the end of the trailer when you see her in that kind of forced stasis as he's kind of, I feel like he's pulling her towards him. I think that is all happening there. And I love that this focuses a little bit more on the end of Force Awakens and the beginning of The Last Jedi, of the passing of the lightsaber. I love how Luke looks. You didn't really get a good look at him at the end of the trailer, or at the end of the movie. You more so just see him pull one of these like dramatic stare downs, but you don't really get a good focus on him. In this, you get a good focus on him. His skin has peeled away on his robotic hand, and it is kind of jacked and a little bit. It's just not well kept for a man who is incredibly attuned with machinery and fixing machines, just like his father was. He's let it kind of just go to waste. His mind is occupied on something else, whether it's depression and the devastation of what he's experienced through the destruction of his academy and the murder of his students, or it's focus on finding a way to rid the galaxy of Snoke. Luke is definitely not in a good mental place. I mean, he's definitely fallen into a very deep depression that is taking a physical toll on him. I mean, look, he's got bags under his eyes. His beard is out to here. He looks a mess, and he's definitely not doing what a Jedi should, which is focus on the code. When all things go to hell, you focus on the code, that there is no emotion. There is peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is the Force. Luke is not focusing on any of that. With the exception of possibly knowledge, the Millennium Falcon shows up where you are, and yet you felt in the Force the death of Han. The shock of who could be coming up, who could be flying that Millennium Falcon, who could be down there with Chewbacca. That's a lot to unpack. And he just looks a mess. And then the next part, Rey starts talking, and again, I believe that this whole trailer consists of basically 3 small scenes that have been cut together really cleverly. This whole thing about, which I love the throwback to The Force Awakens, where she says, it's always been there, but it awoke inside me, which is wonderful, because it definitely a throwback to Snoke. There's been awakening. Have you felt it? And that line had always felt very vague in the movie for me. When I rewatched Force Awakens, I always felt like it was kind of a wasted line. Like, what are you actually referring to? Because he goes to talk about Han Solo, and I felt like that. What kind of awakening was that? Just Han Solo's back in the picture. But this is definitely a hearkening back to that. That really kind of answers that question. What was it that was awakening? It was dormant within Rey, and whether or not when she was left on Jakku by whomever, I still assume it was Luke, that he wiped her mind, that he made her forget what she had done, the power that she had. And I believe that Rey's power summoned Snoke to where they were, and he got it confused with Kylo Ren. And so he took Kylo Ren under his wing, thinking that all that power that he felt on that planet was from him, because he was the grandson of Darth Vader, and yet it was Rey all along. And after what Kylo did to the Academy, Luke hid her away, wiping her mind of all these things. And I believe that this scene that she's talking about, that, it was dormant inside me and now it's awoken, that and the very end of this trailer where she says that I need someone to help me find my place in all this, that both of those scenes, both those bits of dialogue are all to Luke. When he's refusing to train her, when he wants nothing to do with it, this is what she tells him to convince him to train her. The trailer wants you to believe that she's talking to Kylo Ren, but I don't believe it for one freaking second. They're lying to me because they liars. They straight up liars. And I believe that these two scenes, these two bits of dialogue are together in the movie. And let's just come out and say it. Mark Hamill has freaking grown as an actor, man. 20 years of playing the Joker has really, really bumped up Mark Hamill's acting stock, man. I mean, when he's going through that line, I felt this kind of power before. I wasn't afraid enough of it then. I mean, that's got some weight to it. That is gravitas. And I love seeing Luke like this. It's just really, really cool. It's just really freaking cool. And then we get to this part where Kylo Ren's talking about his, let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's the only way you can, fulfill your destiny or become what you're meant to be. I really feel like he is talking to Leia. I think he's talking to his mom. Again, another bit of clever editing on the trailer part. I believe that at the end when Kylo Ren puts his hand out, and you're meant to believe that it's Rey that he's putting his hand out to. I believe that they have attacked the base that Leia's at. It's being blown to hell. Things are burning down. And he is saying this to his mother. But you have to kill the past if you have to. And I believe that he reaches his hand out and is like, Mom, come with me. You don't have to die. I can save you. You'll be safe with Snoke. We're going to make the galaxy a better place. And I believe that those two scenes, again, go together. I believe that he's reaching his hand out for Leia. Especially that line, kill it if you have to. And I think he's going to try to justify why he killed his dad to his mom. Which is going to be really freaking heavy, man. I mean, and then we just get to a whole bunch of really cool things after that. You've got Porg and Chewbacca, and then you've got a Finn fighting Phasma, which, I mean, she's got rocking that force pike, and it just that looks like a fight that's going to be amazing, and Finn's going to totally get his butt kicked, but it's going to be awesome, and I believe that's probably coming at the end of the movie. And then we get to probably the best part of the trailer, the part that everyone's going to be talking about is Snoke, speaking with Rey, and he's holding her in that what looks like a force stasis. But I mean, when you look at the image, she's kind of moving forward. She's not just frozen; she's in pain. She is screaming. She's either fighting it and it's hurting her, or he is my belief, sucking the force, trying to suck the force out of her, feeding off of it, that he has got her held and he is devouring the force inside of her. And I think that while he's doing this, we're going to see a physical transformation in Snoke as he begins to regenerate and heal. And, right before she's sucked dry and he is fully healed, somebody's going to come in, ex machina, and boom, save her. I don't know how that's going to happen or who it's going to be, whether it's going to be Luke who goes toe to toe with Snoke at that point. But I don't know if she's just in force stasis. It looks more than that to me. Every time Kylo Ren has put someone in force stasis, they weren't screaming in pain. They were terrified, they were shaking, they were trying to fight it physically, but they couldn't open their mouths. They couldn't speak. They were just, boom, frozen in place. Only thing that they can move was their eyes. Rey looks in physical pain, and I believe it's because he is draining her. A few really cool parts, Rey popping up out of the water. I think that is her force test. That is her trial of the dark side, where she enters a dark side cave, and she sees a vision. It looks like it's Luke standing there, but I've heard rumors of Hayden Christensen being seen around the areas on set or some sort of thing like that. I'm wondering if that is where she could see and speak to Anakin Skywalker. If she speaks to various Force ghosts along the way and then has to have a trial of the dark side, much like Luke did on Dagobah, which I know that people are going to complain, oh, it's just like Empire Strikes Back, but this is a necessary thing. These trials are incredibly important. And just because it's in the second movie doesn't make it follow in the same formula. It's an important character developing part, and I would be very bummed if that wasn't in the movie. Also, you got Luke coming out of some rubble, some stuff, and he sees his academy burning, and then you hear that line that he says, "This isn't going to end the way you think." I think that is a battle with not just Kylo Ren, but maybe Snoke, and that's going to be in a flashback of what happened to Luke and what happened to the academy. You're going to see this battle raging between, and I don't think Kylo Ren could put Luke in that sort of desperate state. I don't think that he could. I don't think he's powerful enough, which is, so I definitely believe that it was a combined effort of Snoke and Luke. And as he's lying there, I believe that he pulls a building or something on top of them, trying to take them all with him. Obviously, Snoke and Kylo Ren escape. Luke, full on Kill Bill, his way out with his metal hand. I believe that that's when he walks out and sees his academy burning and falls to his knees. So I think that that's all together. This trailer's amazing. These are just a few of my thoughts. I mean, I've been thinking about this for hours before I made this video. My mind was blown. And this trailer did exactly what it was supposed to do. It showed you everything that you need to know about this movie. It showed you every key piece of this movie in such a way that you have no idea what it is. It is a perfect riddle. The answer's there. The answers are inside this trailer. And of course, we're going to pick it apart. We're going to pick it to death over the next 4 months. I don't need to see any other trailers. I'm good. Anyways, those are just a few of my thoughts. I know I'm a bit long-winded, but I am so freaking pumped for this movie. Please, comment below. Tell me what you think is going on in the trailer. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on the Porgs? What are your thoughts on Star Wars in general? Is this explain why she's such a Mary Sue? Because is the embodiment of the Force, that it just comes so naturally to her, that she has had training before, that she just maybe forgot? Let me know your thoughts below. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I am Paul from the Nerds Inn, and see you later.